Hello, Programming 11. We are going to be adding bricks to our Breakout game. Things to break, in other words. And the whole reason we're doing this project, to be honest, is about the bricks. The bricks are where things get interesting, and you'll be doing new things. We'll be doing quite a bit of new things today, actually, so hang on and try to watch the whole video from beginning to end. Don't skip any parts because there's going to be a lot of information about this new topic about making bricks. So to start with, we do already have half a project or a third of a project or whatever you made. So you should be at this point too. You don't have to have an animated intro screen, but you have some mode framework built, and have your game mode with a paddle you can move around and a ball that is bouncing, and it's going to bounce off of the paddle as well as the walls. If you have that ready, then you're good to go. If you don't, then please do that first. It'll be really hard to test our bricks if you don't have this made. And this is all really just review. So, you go and get that taken care of first. Once you're done that, and I'm assuming you are now, we're going to make some bricks. And here's what sucks about making bricks. What a tedious thing to do, right? We're going to want to have like maybe 50 bricks or 100 bricks. If we had all these bricks up in this space, think about all the variables we need. If we had 100 bricks, you need 100 x variables and 100 y variables. And then you're going to be bouncing off of these bricks, right? Like bouncing and breaking them. So you need 100 if statements to check all those collisions. How tedious would that be? That would be so annoying. And I don't want to do that. So we're going to see how you would really program this, because they've designed this structure called an array, which will help you avoid making a whole bunch of different variables. You're kind of going to wish for some previous projects that you had this in the past. So I apologize for revealing this sort of at the end of the course. But there's just so much information, you can't learn everything at once. So here's the deal with an array. So instead of doing x, maybe we make x1, x2, x3, blah, 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 all the way to x50. We're going to instead make this thing called an int array called x. What is an int array? Well, first of all, notice that I put these square brackets after int, and that kind of looks like a book in my imagination anyways. Can you see how that's sort of like a book? So an array is sort of like a book as well. A book is a structure that holds information, and it stores that information on pages which are numbered. Yeah? That's an accurate description of a book, right? So an int array is like a book of numbers. And they're recorded one number per page. And in addition to the numbers we're storing, the pages have page numbers. And the page numbers start counting at 0. So the idea is that we'll be able to flip through our book and record whatever numbers we want. But we just have to refer to the book's name, in this case x, and also the page number. So we don't have to make x1, x2, x3, x4. We just make an int array. We tell it how many pages there are, and then we could just talk about x and what page it's on. And that's going to save us a lot of work, a lot of trouble, which is beautiful. So let's just focus on that. There's some other things to talk about with arrays, but that's a good place to think about it. So I'm going to make two arrays, actually. I'm going to make an array for my x coordinates and an array for my y coordinates. Another way to think of that is I'm making a book for my x coordinates and a book for my y coordinates. And a brick will have its x coordinate and y coordinate saved in two different books, but they'll be on the same page number. So a particular brick, if I want to find out its x coordinate, say it's brick number 4, I'll turn to page 4. Well, I'm lying, actually I'll turn to page 3, but I'll get to that in a second. And I'll look up its x coordinate in the x array and the y coordinate in the y array, but they'll be on the same page, so that'll help me sort of organize where I store all this information. There's two other variables I need as well. There's also the number of pages I'm going to have. So usually people don't call this pages because that's too long to type. I'm just going to call it n for number of pages. If you're already using an n, then feel free to change it. But that's a nice thing to remember. And also I'm going to make just a variable for the brick's diameter. Brick diameter, like this. So I'll just comment what these are. If you're taking notes, feel free to make this as well. So I'm going to have, this is my array or book of x coordinates. And this is all about bricks, right? This is my array or book of y coordinates. Oh yeah. This is how many pages, they're not really called pages. Elements is the technical word, but whatever, pages are in my book or array. And this is the diameter of all bricks. Notice that I'm just going to use one variable to store the brick diameters. That's because I just want one size for all my bricks. If I wanted each brick to be a different size or potentially a different size, I could make an array of brick diameters as well. That would allow me to sort of remember all the different diameters for all the different bricks. And that's it. That's all my variables. And guess what? That would be enough to make 1,000,000 bricks. You wouldn't need to make any more variables. 1,000,000,000 bricks, any number of bricks, honestly, as long as your computer had memory, that's all the variables you need. So hopefully you're convinced just by that fact that this is a worthwhile thing to start. And it's not even the end of the story. There's still going to be more good things coming. So, if at all this does is save us from making so many variables, we're already in on that, right? So we're already saving ourselves time. So now let's go and actually build the books and put some numbers in them and see what that looks like. So I'm going to scroll down to my setup, and my setup has a bunch of stuff in it. So just to avoid being distracting, I'm going to stick it at the very top of the setup, but feel free to organize as you think is appropriate. So here's going to be my brick array setup here. So I'll start by, first of all, making the how many pages. So I'm going to say n equals, let's just say 3 for now. We'll have 3 pages. It's not going to be obvious that this is very useful right now because it's not that hard to make 3 bricks. But let's start small and just know that this can scale dramatically, and we'll show you how. But we'll just keep it pretty simple for now. Now I need to actually make the book. So this is an extra step that you don't normally take with variables. So this is unique to the array. But basically, I got to tell the arrays, I want to have this many pages inside of my book, if you want to go with that metaphor. So I can say x equals new int array n. And n is 3, so it'll make a book with 3 pages in it. I'm going to do the same thing with y, basically just copy and paste the exact same thing. And then brick diameter I can just set right now. Let's say it's going to be 100, but you can change that number to be whatever you think. I don't even know if I'll keep 100. Okay, so that is us kind of setting up the books. Tells the arrays how many pages they should have. I think I worded that a little inefficiently. How many pages they should have. There we go. So this is just, we're saying, hey, x, you're going to be a new int book, a new int array with n pages, where n is 3. That's that. And you have to do this every time in the setup before you use an array. If the array doesn't know how many pages it has, you can't start flipping the pages. That's a kind of a necessary first step. Well, now that we've done that, I can go and access the different pages. So I'll show you how you do that. So instead of saying like x, x0 equals 100, y0 equals 100, and then like, x1, this is how we would do it in the old days, maybe 400, y2 equals 100 still. That would imply that we've made 4 variables, and I don't want to do that. But the syntax is quite similar to what you actually do. How do you access the x coordinates at page 0? You just put the square brackets around it like this. So now I don't have to make those variables. I've already made my book. Oops, this should be a 1. And so notice the page number. Page 0 of either book has the coordinates for brick 0. And I can just look on page 1 in either book for the coordinates of brick 1 and so on. And I don't have to make any more variables. I can keep on going. x2 is going to be 700. And y2 will be still 100 because we're going to be up at the top row. So that's not bad. That's not actually going to be the final way we do things, but there'll be a separate video for changing this structure to make it even more efficient. We'll hint at it in a few minutes, but this is a good place to start. Kind of gives a sense of how you can flip the pages of the book manually. This is us sort of manually going to page 0, and I don't know what happened to my mouse. There we go. We're manually going to page 0 and recording a number, and going to page 0 in another different array and recording another number. So this is us manually flipping the page. But pretty soon we'll use some while loops to automatically flip the page for us, and we just have a formula for writing down the numbers. Okay, so we'll come back to that in the next video. Let's go over to the game now, and let's draw in our bricks. And I'll put this at the top. I'm just going to fill with these colors. Oops, there we go. Fill white. I'll just keep these white for now. And yeah, let's use a circle. So here's one way you could do it. You could be like, okay, cool, x 0, y 0, brick diameter. Okay, that would make the first brick, right? I'm looking at the x coordinates on page 0 and the y coordinates on page 0, and I'm using my brick diameter, and that's going to be one brick. And so I'll do the same with another brick and another brick, but I'll switch that to page 1 for the second brick. I guess that the wording doesn't sound particularly good, but that's one of the hazards of starting to count from 0. But anyways, we'll see brick number 1, brick number 0, and brick number 2 here. We're just accessing their x coordinates inside of the book. And if I run it, I think we'll see some bricks. So we'll go and take a look at that. Sure enough, they have appeared. There's my 3 bricks. This is over on the left. We have brick 0. Middle one is brick 1, and the far one on the right there is brick number 2. So okay, that's nice. That's nice. And I think even if that was all arrays did for us, we're still pretty happy. We didn't have to make so many variables. But guess what? That's just the tip of the iceberg for the things that we can do with arrays, because guess what? See this page number here? That can be replaced with a variable. We can put a variable in that slot, and we can stick that into a loop, and that variable can be changed in the loop. So that means we can automatically turn the page and look up the next coordinates. That's not that exciting when you only have 3 bricks, because this wasn't a lot of work, but imagine you had 1,000,000 bricks. Like, imagine this was Minecraft, and you're like looking at all the bricks. You know, you're way up high in creative mode. You flew up in the air, and you're looking at all those things. You can now automate the drawing of all those things. I'll show you how to do it. We're going to use just a single circle function call, and we're going to replace this with a variable, I. You might remember when we were making our while loops, we used the I a lot. So I'll make this int I, and we'll start at 0, because that's where the page starts. And we're going to make our while loop keep on going while I is less than n, the number of pages. So n is 3, right? So we'll have page 0, 1, and 2. Once it gets to page 3, which is technically the 4th page, it'll stop, because we don't want to look on page number 3, because we only have page 0, 1, and 2. So now I'll put my braces around this. Really important to get those braces in the right places, as I'm sure you've discovered. And then the final step is to just go to the next page. I equals I plus 1. Or if you saw it in previous videos, it was I plus plus. I forget if I've showed you that technique. This just means add 1 to I. So this is a great loop. Check this loop out. We start at 0. And so is 0 less than 3? Yeah. So it draws a circle with coordinates at x page 0 and y page 0, and it'll be this size. Then we increase I by 1. So it goes from 0 to 1. 1 is still less than 3. So now it's going to draw the circle at page 1 with those coordinates. And then I goes to 2. So then, 2 is still less than 3. So it's going to it's going to flip to the page number 2. And it's going to draw use the x coordinates on page number 2 of these arrays to draw those coordinates, a circle at those coordinates. Hey, not bad, right? And you might be like, wait. That's more code than the 3 lines that we just had before. And you know, you're not wrong. But here's where this is going to get amazing. Imagine now that we have 100 bricks. Guess what? This code doesn't have to change. If we had 1,000,000 bricks, this code doesn't have to change. All we need to have are big enough arrays and n change. So if n became, 10,000, we have 10,000 bricks. This code will draw 10,000 bricks. Isn't that great? That is so powerful. That is going to save us a lot of time and allow us to draw all those bricks. We're still pretty small scale right now. We're still just drawing 3 bricks. But check it out. It works just fine. That loop draws those number of bricks. We're going to have to come up with a more efficient way to make the bricks, though, and we'll see that in another video before I go and show you here's I'm drawing 1,000 bricks or something like that, because we just don't really we need to do that as a separate video. But anyways, that's pretty good. So now I'd like to show you using a loop to flip the page to check the bouncing off of the brick. Okay, so this will be reasonably complicated. So you might want to take a break and get some stretching going on. These videos probably it's hard to sit through a whole video, so feel free to take a break. But I'm going to borrow some of this code from down here. Here's my bouncing off a paddle. And this is my bouncing off a paddle code. I'm going to change this to bouncing off a brick. Paddle bounce, this will be brick bounce. It's got a nice ring to it. Brick bounce. Okay, so now this code is kind of the same thing as what I need, but instead of the paddle, I want the bricks, x and y coordinates, and the bricks diameter. So all this px and py stuff, I need to switch over to the bricks x and y. That's going to be x. So let's just put in brick 0. I'll put in, this is the x and y coordinate of brick 0. This is the brick diameter divided by 2. And then this needs to be changed from paddle to the brick. And this needs to be changed from paddle to the brick. So this if statement now will bounce a ball off of the brick whose coordinates are stored on the 0 pages of the x and y coordinates. So let's see if it works. I suck at Breakout, so sorry if I miss it a lot. Hopefully this isn't too... What do you think? Is that hey, ho, ha, ha. Yeah, I did it. See, it did. It bounced off the brick. And I don't know, I'll try and get the other ones. I doubt I'm going to hit it. But yeah, it still doesn't bounce off that one. Boo. But it can bounce off that one. Let's try. Hoo, ha. Oh, I failed. Well, take my word for it. It worked. You saw it work, right? Totally, right? Oh, I'll give it one more try. I'm sorry. I hit it. So the breaking doesn't happen yet, but the collisions are working nicely. So yeah, I could copy and paste this and get it to work for the brick that's information is stored on page 1. And I bet you know where this is going, right? You're like, okay, Mr. Pelchier, I'm wise to you. You're copying and pasting, but you don't really want to do that. And you're right. This will work, right? I can get this to work, and all the bricks now will bounce the ball off of them. I'll do my best to demonstrate it. Here we go. Yeah, that one worked. I'm gonna get this one. Oh, I don't think I did it. So close. Oh, but watch, it did it, and oh my god, it didn't do it. Oh, there we go, I got it. Okay, so a roundabout way I got it. So sure, this is working for the other bricks. I'm gonna just shrink this down here so I can put this all on the screen. I don't think I'll quite get it all on the screen. But there's 3 if statements to bounce 3 bricks. But wait a second, we already know that you don't need to do that because we got while loops now. We have while loops that will allow us to check collisions as we go. That's a beautiful thing. This I variable can be used inside of here as well. Isn't that nice? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all but one of these. We don't need all these. We don't need them all. And I'm going to replace the 0 with I, like so. And then I'm going to take this if statement and I'm going to put it in my while loop. I'm going to put it right before the I++ and right after the circle. Although I think I could go first if you wanted it to. So now this while loop is automating the drawing of the bricks, and it's automating the checking of the bricks for collisions. Does it work? Let's see. It drew 3 bricks, and it hit the bricks. Is it just a fluke? I'll try to hit the other ones, but, we'll see. Oh, I failed. I can't lose. I didn't program in the life loss, so this got to hit something. Here we go. Yeah, hit. You probably can just, try this code out and see. So look at this. We have a single loop, which is going to rule all our bricks. And guess what? If I added 100 bricks, that number is really the only thing that has to change. I guess I'd have to put the coordinates. I have to write the numbers in the books, so to speak. But that is all we'll ever need. We need one circle function and one if statement to check 1,000,000 possible bricks. So I hope you see the power of this sort of automation that we've built into our code. It's not quite, Minecraft level of complexity or something, but we're getting closer. We're getting to the point where we're writing code that can scale into huge sizes to deal with big problems like, a whole bunch of bricks. And we only had to use 4 variables and 1 loop and a couple of functions, a function and an if statement to make it all happen. So I hope you're excited about this, and when you go to code it in yourself, if you have troubles, let me know. But for the most part, this is it. This is how it works. So the next video, tomorrow's video, will be about bringing this while loop goodness, this really, really sweet while loop automation to our setup, where we still are doing this kind of the old-fashioned way, the manual way, right? We're manually putting in these numbers. So if we had 1,000,000 bricks, you wouldn't want to manually input each one. Surely there's a way to do that. So that's our next video for tomorrow, okay? So thanks so much for watching. I hope you are enjoying and it's making sense. And if not, please feel free to ask questions in Teams or come on in during flex time on Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Okay, thanks so much. Bye-bye.